Shoot, Ben. Shoot. Shoot the ball. That's in reference to Brooklyn Nets power forward Ben Simmons, who was yelled at by his teammate, point guard Kyrie Irving, during last night's game against the Milwaukee Bucks, where he had a wide open shot and he decided to pass up on it and hand it off to his teammates instead of trying to make a shot. And that was just all part of what happened with the Brooklyn Nets last night against the Milwaukee Bucks, as the Nets fall to 1-3 on this young NBA season by the score of 110-99. And there's a lot to take out of this game. A lot. The Nets' defense was porous. The Nets' offense, besides Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, was porous. The second half shooting was as ice cold can be. Yes, the referees were horrendous last night, especially for the Nets, but the Bucks had some bad calls on them too. The adjustments and the rotation of this team last night again was abysmal. Nobody could consistently shoot. Everybody went ice cold in the second half of the game. So it was just an ugly game overall. But what's going on, everybody? NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm here to recap the Nets' loss last night to the Bucks, as the Nets are now 1-3 on the season. The Nets pretty much could not defend to save their life. This team, just for some reason, the defensive rotations, whether it's zone or man-to-man, this team is just getting beat off the ball. Second chance points is hurting them. They continue to get out-rebounded in every single game almost. They got out-rebounded 54-37 last night, where it was actually close to the rebounding stats at the beginning of the third quarter, and then the Nets just forgot how to rebound. They're playing too small, giving up too many second chance opportunities and second chance points to their opponents. Happened last night against Milwaukee. The shooting was horrendous in the second half. The first half, the Nets were actually shooting 55% from the three-point line. 55% from behind the arc. Yes, they only took 11 shots, but they hit 6 of them. And I don't know what the hell happened in the second half. They dropped from 55% to 25%. They couldn't hit a three-point shot to save their life. Harris was missing three-point shots. Mills was missing three-point shots. Kyrie Irving took an 0 for last night behind the three-point line. Royce O'Neal was ice cold from behind the arc in the second half. Kevin Durant was having trouble hitting threes. This team was as ice cold. They were colder than a bowl of ice cream. That's how cold they were. This team couldn't buy a bucket. They went at least 3 or 4 minutes without hitting a single bucket, 2 or 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he went off at the second half. Giannis actually only had 8 points. 8 points at the end of the half. 8 points. You know how many points he had at the end of the game? 43. Giannis once again had another double-double. He completely took over the game. 3 blocks, 5 assists, 14 rebounds. Yes, he turned the ball over 7 times. It's something Giannis has got to get better at, but that's not the point. The Nets could not stop this guy. And there were a lot of egregious calls that happened last night, including that egregious call that happened when Giannis clearly forearm shoved Patty Mills to the ground. They didn't call a foul on it, and Steve Nash collectively lost his goddamn mind. And he actually picked up a couple of technical fouls and got ejected in the game. And there were a lot of technical fouls called in this game. A lot. Irving had a technical foul. Simmons had a technical foul. Brook Lopez had a technical foul. Nash had a couple of technical fouls. It was chippy in this game last night. It felt like a playoff game. But the Milwaukee Bucks were playing more like a playoff team. And the Brooklyn Nets are playing more like a team that's just... They don't know where they are right now. They're a team out of sync. So... And I mean, you just look at the... I know some people don't give a crap about stats. I understand that, but... The Nets had 3 players in double figures, and you would even say that the 3 were very questionable. Because Royce O'Neal had 12 points in the first half. He had nothing in the second half. He did nothing. Durant and Irving, once again, the only people that are scoring on this team. Durant and Irving had a combined 60 points out of the 90 overall, 99. So Durant and Irving almost had 50% of the entire Nets points last night. 50%. How are you supposed to win basketball games if nobody else on this team could score points? How? How is this team supposed to win if nobody else can score? Claxton gave him nothing. Patty Mills was invisible. Joe Harris, nothing. Ben Simmons, nothing. Nobody on the bench did anything. Nobody. How are we supposed to win basketball games like this? In fact, Bobby Portis alone, almost outscored the entire Nets bench last night. Almost by himself. Almost outscored the entire Brooklyn Nets bench. He had 20 points on the night. The entire Nets bench had 21. And why the hell is Cam Thomas not playing? Why? Why did you play Edmund Sumner, who gave this team a spark at the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter? Why did this guy only play 6 minutes? I don't understand it. This team needs any type of offensive spark it can get right now. And you're trotting out guys that can't hit the broadside of a barn. And the defense has just been... I don't know how many times I saw Giannis just understep defenders, drive past defenders, get second chance points and put the ball in. The Nets defense at times was abysmal. And I could still chalk it up with the fact this team is brand new. It's only 4 games in this early NBA season. But right now this defense looks exactly how it did last year. A defense that is chasing to the three-point line. A defense that is just not getting in their sets. A defense that's allowing the opposing players to just drive right past them. A defense that's playing small. I mean, the Nets defense last night was bad. But the offense was worse. And Jacques Vaughn was coaching exactly like Steve Nash has been coaching. This guy was not making adjustments at all. I understand you're just taking over as the interim head coach. You're just trying to make some decisions on the fly because of the fact that Nash got ejected with a couple of technical fouls, but still. You've been a head coach previously. You've been a guy that knows this roster. If you think you want to, why don't you try something different? Why don't you put Cam Thomas in for a little bit? Why don't you put Kessler Edwards in for a little bit? Give these guys a chance. See if they can give this team a spark on offense. Or at least a spark on defense. Because the guys out there weren't getting the job done. Why didn't you play Edmund Sumner a little bit more? I mean, Sumner in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Had the most amount of points for the Nets. 6 friggin' minutes and he had 9 points. The Nets are getting nothing right now offensively besides Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I love Nicholas Claxton. I really do. I think he's showing great improvement in his game. But this guy's not a complete offensive player. He's not. And the Nets right now are relying on him to be the third best offensive player, and that's not going to work. What's going to happen when Durant or Irving are going to have a bad game? Look what happened to them against New Orleans. Irving couldn't shoot the ball couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn. And look what happened. They got the doors blown off by New Orleans. The Nets just continue to just give up at least 110 plus points a game. They couldn't shoot. They actually weren't turning the ball over that much, which is surprising. The Nets have been a team that turns the ball over a lot. They only have 14 turnovers on the game. Durant, he had the most turnovers by far. He had 5. Even personal fouls wasn't as bad. But this team, they got to get it together. Because one of the things that I mentioned and other Nets fans have mentioned too, this team cannot get off to a slow start. I know it's only 4 games in the season, but we're 1-3 already. And there are other teams in the Eastern Conference that are off to bad starts too. The Miami Heat are off to a putrid start. The Philadelphia 76ers are off to a rough start. There's some teams in the Eastern Conference that are supposed to be good teams that are off to rough starts right now too. But this is going to be a very competitive Eastern Conference. Very competitive. And if you get off to a slow start out of the gates, you're going to be left behind. Because this is not a conference where there's just a bunch of weak teams. And yeah, you could say, well, Jeff, you're being too harsh on this team. It's only 4 games of the season. You know what? What right now gives you the pause to think that this team is going to be able to turn things around? With the way they're playing defense, with the way this team is shooting right now, and the way this team, nobody on this team can score points. And the fact they're getting nothing consistently from their bench. Nothing. Nobody on that bench is doing anything. Man, I hope we can get Seth Curry back because he could give this offense a little bit of a spark. I really do. And I hope eventually we get TJ Warren back because as much as that guy's injury prone, you know what? He would give this team a spark offensively because he's a talented offensive player. Right now, this Nets team, they look absolutely discombobulated. Absolutely discombobulated on both sides of the court. They're not putting out a good set rotation. There's no adjustments consistently being made. Nobody on this team besides Durant and Irving can consistently score points. The defense is at times getting blown by in the middle of the paint. Nobody's trying to stand in front and draw an offensive foul. 3-point defense has not been good. The rebounding, this team is still playing small. They're getting out-rebounded. Second chance points is hurting this team. This Nets team has got a lot to do to try to shape things up. And they have a game tonight against Dallas. And Dallas is a very tough team too. Tim Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith, obviously Luka Doncic. You got Woods. That's not going to be an easy game too. And how much you think those noises are going to start going off a lot louder if this team ends up losing tonight too and they go 1-4. How much do you think the alarm bells are going to start ringing? And how long until Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving start getting a little bit upset and they're going to start thinking about maybe requesting some trades later on if this team continues to struggle? Like I said, it's only 4 games. Still plenty of time for this team to turn it around. But right now, what I'm seeing on the basketball court, I'm not liking. I'm not liking it one single bit. Because this basketball team right now, they look completely out of sync offensively and defensively. And Ben Simmons, I don't know what happened to your mojo, bro. But you better get it back soon. Because you are not helping this basketball team right now. Sure, you're doing a good job getting the ball to your teammates. And you're doing a solid job rebounding. Even your defense was questionable last night. But I'll give you a little bit of the benefit of the fact that you're coming back from a serious back injury. And I'll even give somebody like Joe Harris a little bit of a benefit. You're both coming back from serious injuries. So you're still working your way back into NBA shape. But when is the excuses going to stop then? When are you guys going to start stepping it up? I really hope this team goes into Dallas tonight and they make a statement. I want to be patient. I want to say it's only 4 games. But the fact of the matter is we've been waiting 4 years as Nets fans for this team to start showing us something. So my patience is worn thin. It's 4 years in the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving era. It's time for this team to actually get it together and start performing. Because if this team gets off to another rough start, The drama starts up again. You start hearing excuses all over the place. You know what's going to happen? Steve Nash will be fired. Durant and Irving will start thinking about requesting trades again. This team will be an absolute travesty and a mess. Sean Marks could possibly be in the hot seat. And Joe Tsai, the owner, is going to be looked at as an absolute joke. And the entire NBA pundits are going to start laughing at the Nets again. So I really hope this Nets team can come in tonight against Dallas and have a better performance than what they showed last night against the Bucks. Because the Nets were leading this game by a good amount. And they couldn't keep the momentum going because they could not shoot. They could not rebound. They could not do anything consistently. And the biggest reasons why this Nets team lost last night, nobody but Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving could consistently score in that game throughout the entire game. Ben Simmons was being timid again. The Nets defense was getting blown by and they could not pick up the coverage on the outside. The bench from Milwaukee outscored the Nets bench, and Bobby Portis alone almost outscored the entire Nets bench. The Nets got out-rebounded by 17. And this team just continues to not put out a different type of rotation to help get the most out of this basketball team. So I'll see what's going to happen tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. Hopefully this team can come out and play more of a complete game, and somebody else besides Durant and Irving could step up on offense and give this team some consistent scoring. Because if not, there's a possibility we could be 1-4 by going into tomorrow. So I just want to get that out of there. This is my recap for the Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks as the Nets dropped to 1-3 on this young NBA season by the final score of 110-99. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, chatter, and game recaps surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications when the next video or short surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And let me know in the comment section how you feel about the Brooklyn Nets right now, the state of the Nets after last night's 110-99 loss, and if you agree with some of my sentiments that this team has got to start playing better consistently, and the rotation's got to be changed up, and this team's got to play better consistent basketball going forward. So I thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and we all just live in it.